Great to be on the line with Jackie Franchuli, who just left the Dan Mullen News Conference at the cusp of spring practice, which starts on a Thursday. You can join Jackie at allgators.com on SI. All right, a new spring game was announced. Spring practice is about to start. Constant churn of personnel losses and gains in college football, but especially for this team. Trask gone, Pitt's gone, wide receivers gone, a lot of defense gone. So just in regards to spring practice, I'll leave it wide open in regards to what maybe Dan Mullen had to say about objectives this spring, or just your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a shame there'll be no spring game. I think we can start off with that. Although Dan Mullen actually said, the spring game, what you get out of it, it's the celebration for the players after all your hard work. He said, it's great to see the fans and you get excited because you're in the swamp. So those are the things that he will miss. But he honestly said he'll get more because you get 15 practices, which included the spring game. He said he'll get more as a coach by having a normal practice. So as a coach, he doesn't mind that we won't have a spring game, but he understands why fans will be disappointed. He understands at the same time, why players will be also disappointed because, at the same time, this is the opportunity where you can have, one of your younger quarterbacks exhibit in a game and not having to worry about the score. So those are things that he realizes that they're going to be a loss. And honestly, what he was saying was, if you think about it, last year they didn't have spring practice at all. Don't forget, I remember like it was yesterday, we had Dan Mullen available to us for for preview to spring practice. And then 2 days later, everything kind of shut down. So when you think about that, a lot of these young players never had a spring. Anthony Richardson didn't have a spring. Josh Braun, the offensive lineman who enrolled early, didn't have a spring. And honestly, when we talked about, the offseason last year before COVID happened, we were thinking that Josh Braun would be one of those younger guys who might have gone into the first team rotation, at least being the 2 deep for the O-line, if he had that spring kind of development period, and he did not have that. So now these players who didn't have a spring last year will get a spring this year. And this is where a lot of players make huge strides in their development. Spring is such a crucial time for these athletes. And also, don't forget, last year, because of COVID too, a lot of these athletes had to do a lot of their off-season workouts and spring workouts from home with Nick Savage, showing them YouTube videos and doing stuff like that. So a lot of those things were missed last year. And this is sort of stuff that, Dan Mullen is saying we get to have that. So this is something where he said that he's really excited about, was because this is where you can really see the development in the players. And honestly, if you really look at what happened during the last season, a lot of the stuff that we saw, granted, a lot of the stuff was also veterans who made mistakes, but some of the younger guys didn't get that boost of development. And you really have to look at that didn't have a spring practice. Some of these young guys were thrown out there with no spring practice out of their belts. They didn't get to watch film of each other playing. They didn't get contact. A lot of the defensive problems also happened because they had no contact practice until fall camp. So this is all the stuff that he's looking forward to. And I understand that, as a person looking at football, you're like, yeah, you know what? Spring development really hampered Florida last year in a lot of places on the field. So this is something that he kind of focused on. Obviously, for us, when you're looking at it, spring, there's going to be a lot of holes to fill with a lot of veterans leaving. So you're looking at the defensive line. How's the defensive line going to look at? I'm curious about the O-line. They do have a lot of veterans coming back, like Reese and DeLance. But my question is, with all the right side issues that they had last year, what's going to happen? Are they going to, possibly something that I was talking about before last season, Josh Braun? I would think Josh Braun would make it into that first team. So these are the questions that you're looking at. And obviously Kyle Trask is gone and Kyle Pitts is gone. So you're looking at how is Emory Jones going to look in that offense. So this is sort of stuff that they're thinking about. Brian Johnson, their play caller, is gone as well. He's now coaching in the NFL. So how is the offense going to look? So those are the things that they're going to be focused on in the spring, is how they can adapt the offense, kind of establish the run game a little bit more, and kind of use what Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson, Dan Mullen doesn't like naming his number one quarterback. So we'll play around with that, Emory Jones or Anthony Richardson, and see how, they fit in the offense.
12 early enrollees from the 2021 class, 5 transfer additions as well, headlined by DeMarcus Bowman. We'll know more, hopefully, about those players in several weeks. Jackie Franchuli, allgators.com. Got to join her and the rest of the staff right there covering Florida football. Jackie, as always, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me, Mark.